people today. They could spend half their lives over 50. That's a lot of living. So it helps to have a wise friend and fierce defender in your corner. A friend like AARP. So your health lives longer.
This is just slow-mo karate?
Just slow-mo karate.
Your money lives longer.
I just bought that.
I just sold that.
And your happiness lives longer. That's why the younger you are, the more you need AARP. Join today.
Welcome to AARP Illinois' virtual event. It's so wonderful to have you with us. AARP is on a mission to connect with individuals across various communities, especially those aged 50 and above. We're here to listen, understand, and address the unique needs of you and your community as we age. Our goal is to enrich your experience by expanding our local activities, providing opportunities for you to discover and engage with all that life has to offer right here in your own community and virtually. As we journey through today's event, we invite you to consider joining our dedicated team of AARP volunteers. It's a chance to make a meaningful impact and help us better serve those 50 plus across the nation. Connect with us and be a part of this vibrant movement toward positive change. Welcome, and let's make this event both fun and transformative.
Hello, AARP. My name is Chef Holly Rutherford, and I'm coming to you today from Morton, Illinois. Today we've got some fantastic recipes in store for you for our game day parties, whether you're at home or at a friend's house or even doing a work potluck. We've got a couple of really awesome recipes for you, something a little bit twist on the normal. The first one we are going to do is an Italian hero dip. So kind of like an Italian hero or hoagie sub sandwich, but in dip form, because who doesn't love a dip? And then the next one we're gonna do a new, little bit healthier twist on some potato skins for you using everyone's new favorite appliance, the air fryer. So let's go ahead and get started on our dip. First up in my great big bowl here, I've just got the beginnings of my sauce. I've got some cream cheese, mayo, a little Italian dressing, and some Italian seasoning just to give it a little bit more kick and flavor. So with this, I'm just gonna whisk this together, and this is gonna kind of be our sauce or binder, however you wanna think about that. You could absolutely go with a homemade vinaigrette if you like. Maybe a balsamic would be good. Even those bottles of like the sub vinaigrette that they sell would also be delicious here. If you like it spicy, add a little hot sauce or maybe some red pepper flakes. So we just whisked that together, so we got our nice creamy binding base here. And then we have all sorts of delicious flavors to go into this. First up, I am going to dice up half of a red onion. I don't know about you guys, but I don't like when I bite into something and just get like a huge bite of raw onion. It adds fantastic flavor, but that's just not a pleasant experience. So with this, what I did here was I cut the top off and then cut our onion in half through the root end, like so. So then this makes it really easy to peel this outer skin off. I leave the root intact. This helps hold it together as we're cutting so that it's not sliding all over the place on us. So then from there, what I do, I take my nice sharp chef's knife, great all-purpose tool in the kitchen. I place my hand flat on top so I don't cut myself. That would definitely be a party pooper. And I start by placing my knife flat on my cutting board and then just raise it up a little bit. I want really small dice here, so I'm not raising it up very far. But starting from the cutting board and raising it up helps keep your knife cuts more even and better spaced so that you don't end up having them all slanted all over the place. So I'm going to go up just a little bit and cut right into my onion here. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to go up a little bit further. And this one's pretty small. I think that'll work. And then from the front of the onion, I'm going to cut down in thin strips. Again, we're looking for a pretty small dice here. We don't want to bite into a big old chunk of raw onion. And then I cut across. You always want to make sure you have your claw in place when doing this. This helps keep your fingers out of the way so that we don't lose any digits. So I put my little claw on top of the onion to hold it in place, and then just chopping straight down little tiny pieces like so. One of the things I get asked a lot is how to prevent tears when cutting an onion. And that's really going to be down to two things: a sharp knife, and then I also find that cooling your onion in the refrigerator or even in the freezer for a few minutes also helps. It helps close up all those little juice pockets so that they're not spraying all over the place and making you tear up. And a sharp knife will also make sure that those cuts are nice and clean. Again, not bursting those little pockets of onion juice. So that's going to go right into our bowl. And then we're going to start working our way through all of our other additions here. So next up, I've got just some sliced black olives. I'm just going to dump those right in there. And then I have some sliced provolone cheese. This is hard to find shredded, but that's completely fine because we can just chop it up. No biggie, right? So I just kind of make it in a stack and then cut it into strips. And then I turn it and I just cut it into little chunks. That'll give us some nice cheesy pockets in our dip. And the provolone really adds another level of flavor, along with our regular mozzarella that we'll add at the end before we put it in the oven and make it all bubbly and delicious. You could absolutely try some different cheeses, maybe a pepper jack. That would be really good here if you like it spicy. So that's just gonna go into my bowl. And of course, our hero subs always have lots of yummy Italian type meats on them. So here I've got about 1/4 pound of just regular deli ham. I like it smoked or Black Forest style, but if you like the honey one, whatever it is you like. Again, I just cut this into strips, turn it, and then just cut it into some chunks. That's gonna go in our bowl. Next here, I've got some salami. I like the hard salami or an Italian style salami. It tends to have a firmer texture than something like a Genoa salami. So that works a little bit better for something like this, so that when you cut it into chunks, it is actually chunks and doesn't just mush up. So this is about 1/2 pound of salami. I actually had 2 open packages, so they're 2 different kinds. Totally fine. This is a great recipe for that. If you got a little something you want to just kind of get used up, go for it. Those kind of improvisations, you might find a whole new amazing flavor that you like. If you're looking for something a little bit leaner, there are some really great turkey options out there as well. Some turkey salamis, even the salami sticks would be good as well. There are some low sodium versions for those of our viewers needing to watch their blood pressure. So this is the last of my salami then. Get that in the bowl. And then I have just some regular old pepperoni. This is actually turkey pepperoni. In my house, this is a snack, so I started buying the turkey just to give us a little bit of a healthier option. It's a little bit leaner, also tends to be lower in fat and sodium, and tastes just as good. Don't let the haters tell you otherwise. So again, just dicing this up. As we're dicing, we just want to think about the finished product. Since we are making a dip, we want all these little pieces so that when we scoop it up with our crusty bread that we'll do later on, that we can get that little bit of everything in there and get that really perfect bite. What I really love about this dip too is it has so many bold flavors. I love it. We have some other fantastic things we're going to add in here. Some sliced banana peppers. You know, we have summer coming up. If you have these things coming from your garden, that would be fantastic in here. I know my garden, it's always my tomato plant that goes crazy. Last year it was taller than my 7-year-old. So this is the last of my pepperoni right here. My turkey pepperoni. Next up here, I've got just some little grape tomatoes. You can use grape tomatoes, you can use cherry tomatoes. If you have just some full-sized tomatoes and you want to dice those up, that works fantastic too. I really like Roma tomatoes. Sometimes you'll see them as paste tomatoes. That's what I like to grow in my garden, actually. I like these because they have more, they're meatier, they aren't quite as juicy, so I feel you get a better bang for your buck with Romas. They're kind of my go-to. Oh, it's really great too in the summertime, whether you grow your own garden or you like to hit up the farmer's market, even the grocery stores. Tomatoes come in so many beautiful colors these days. That would add a rainbow to this dip as well. They come in green, yellow, orange. I have seen purple tomatoes. They're really cool looking. So we're just having these. When these go in the oven, when our dip goes in the oven, these tomato halves will almost melt in the dip. And then here I've just got some banana pepper rings, just from a jar. I drained them off, just about a half a cup. I'm just gonna give these a bit of a rough chop, just so that we have some smaller pieces. We just don't want whole rings in our dip, that's all. There we go, that's good. That goes in our dip. And then last we have just some jarred roasted red peppers. You can absolutely roast your own. This is just a fantastic shortcut. Sometimes we are short on time, or even just don't have a good place to roast red peppers. So I like these jar ones, are fantastic. They're convenient. These ones are packed in water. You can get them just dried in a pouch as well. So I'm just going to give these a bit of a rough chop. Again, we just don't want any great big pieces in there. These are going to add a really nice kind of sweet, almost smoky flavor to our dip because of the charring process. All right, everybody in the tub. All right, now that we have everybody in our big old bowl, we're just gonna mix it together. I just like a rubber spatula for this. Rubber spatulas are just such like a fantastic all-purpose tool in the kitchen. And these ones that we have with the red handles, these are actually heat resistant. So you can use these to saute and whatnot and they won't melt on you. You can actually find some in stores these days. They don't usually have the red handles like this, but they're made out of silicone, and they'll say right on the package they're heat resistant, usually up to about 450 degrees. Okay, so we have that all mixed together, our giant bowl of goodness. And then here I've just got an 8-inch square baking pan, and I'm just going to give it a little spray. And in goes our dip. It smells so good, guys. I wish you had smelled it. Get the tanginess from the dressing, all the pepperiness from all of the meats. All those little bits of cheese are gonna melt and get all gooey. It's gonna be so good. And then here I've just got about a cup of shredded mozzarella cheese. And this is just gonna go right on top. Give her a good little sprinkle. So that it comes out nice and cheesy and bubbly. And then I have my oven preheated to 375 degrees. I'm gonna pop this in there. We are just looking for this to get hot and bubbly. Should take us about 20-25 minutes, okay? So I'm going to stick this in the oven, and then we are going to move on to the next piece of this recipe. All right, the next part for our Italian hoagie dip, we have just a loaf here of some nice French bread, and we're gonna make some yummy crispy crostini to dip in that bread. For this one, since it's pretty decent sized, I'm just gonna cut it straight across. I like to keep my slices fairly thin. It says about the width of my pinky. I feel like that's a good size for what we're doing here. So I'm just gonna get some of these cut up. And then right over here, I have a 10-inch skillet, just getting warm over about medium heat there. And we are going to fry these little toast points. So I've just got some extra virgin olive oil here. And we're gonna do a couple of tablespoons there in the pan. It's 2-3 tablespoons. Swirl it around so it's nice and even. I just always try to check the temperature. I just put my hand lightly above the pan to see if I can feel heat coming off of it. So then what we're gonna do, we're gonna take a few of our little crostinis here, and in our hot oil, we're just gonna place them cut side down, like so. You don't want to overcrowd this too much because then they just won't brown very well. I'd say that's a good amount. I got about 5 in there, okay? And then we're just gonna leave these alone for a minute, okay? What we're looking to do is for that side to get nice and golden brown and crispy, and then we'll flip them and brown the other side. And then here I have a nice little draining rig set up. It's just a sheet pan with a cooling rack over the top. I have a piece of parchment under there. This helps just drain away any excess oil. This is a great setup for deep frying as well. So we can hear these are starting to sizzle a little bit. While that's cooking, I'm going to cut up a few more. Let's take a peek here. I've just got a little fish spatula. I also have tongs. Those are useful as well. I'm just peeking. They're starting to get a little bit gold. Check this guy. We'll leave them for just another minute and let them get nice and crispy. And then after we flip them and get the other side nice and crispy, get them out on our pan, we're gonna make sure we salt them really well so that they're nice and seasoned to go with our dip. Just gonna set my little bread slices aside here. The last part that we are going to need for this is a little bit of shredded lettuce. This is gonna go on top of our dip when it comes out of the oven. Excuse me. I just have iceberg here. I like its crunch for something like this. It adds good texture. All right, there we go. Beautiful. Ooh, nice and crispy and brown. Let's turn that heat down just a smidge. It's starting to get a little hot on me. That's okay. And then I'm just gonna add a smidge bit more oil to the pan here, just so that that other side gets a nice coating and gets nice and crispy and golden brown. Okay? Okay. Back to our lettuce. Like I said, I just have iceberg here. I'm gonna show you a cool little trick for getting the core out. That makes working with iceberg so much easier. All you're gonna do is you're gonna whack this against your counter. So if you have any frustrations to take out for the day, prep some romaine. Simple as that, and then the core just comes right out. That can go in our garbage. And now if you want to pull this apart into leaves, easy peasy. We're just gonna shred some of it, and I'm just gonna do that straight off the head here. And all I'm doing is I'm just cutting straight down in very, very thin cuts, okay? Easy as that. Who needs to buy it pre-shredded from the store? Alrighty, let's check our bread here. It's trying to run away from me. Alright, the other side is also nice and golden brown. We're going to switch to tongs for taking it out here though. Put that right over here just in case there's any of that excess oil remaining. Give it a chance to drain a little bit. And then I've just got a little bit of kosher salt here. Kosher salt's kind of the standard in my kitchen. But I have started incorporating more sea salts. The Himalayan pink salt, they have lots of really good micronutrients in them that are good for your thyroid, for example. And then we have just some nice salty, crispy, golden crostini here to go with our dip. And then my lettuce, I'm just gonna put in a bowl and set it aside. And so then when that dip is ready to come out of the oven, we're all ready to go to get that guy finished up. right, while we're waiting for our dip to finish up, we're gonna go ahead and start our next recipe. We are going to do some delicious sweet potato skins. And we're gonna use our air fryer to do it. It's gonna be so good. I've got here just a few baked sweet potatoes, just cooked them until they were tender. These ones are kind of small, so I did 4. Sometimes they're enormous. Then you can do less of them and cut them into pieces so that you don't have somebody trying to eat a whole sweet potato skin. That's just a little much. So I'm just trimming off these funny little ends. And then I'm going to cut this in half lengthwise. We have our beautiful sweet potato. And then what I'm gonna do, I just have a regular teaspoon. I'm gonna start scooping this insides into a bowl. We wanna make sure we leave a little bit in the skin. That's gonna help it hold together, give it some flavor. What I like to do with these sweet potato guts, I guess you could call them, you can put them in a zip top bag, put them in the freezer. Next time you want some mashed sweet potatoes, you're halfway there. Just thaw them, eat them up, add your butter, brown sugar, you're good to go. Sweet potatoes are so good for you. They are full of beta carotene, which is good for your eyes. They're also full of fiber, which has a lot of health benefits, everywhere from digestion to blood pressure. And they're just delicious. They're so much more versatile than people think. So many people just think, canned sweet potatoes with marshmallows on them, which don't get me wrong, those are delicious. Sweet potatoes have so many fantastic uses. For example, another thing you could do with this sweet potato pulp, it's delicious and chili. It adds a hit of nutrition for you, some good vitamins, adds a nice little sweetness to your chili, and adds a little bit more body to it, makes it a little bit more filling. Our last couple sweet potatoes here. They've always been one of my favorite vegetables. They do take a while to cook in the oven. I want to say these took me about an hour. I just stuck them in on a pan, just a regular sheet pan, in the oven at about 375, about an hour. You're just looking for them to be fork tender, so that when you poke them, you don't have resistance. That's what you're looking for. That's something that you can do ahead of time. If you know you're going to have a busy day ahead of you, you can always just bake the sweet potatoes the day before, put them in a zip top bag, put them in your fridge, and then the next day you just have to do the assembly. Potato skins are one of my favorite appetizers. So today we've just got a new little twist for you. So I got these all scraped out. My last one here. They're a little fibrous, so sometimes I find that little scraping motion works better than just trying to scoop it all at once. Okay. So I've just got them on my sheet pan here. We're gonna get them ready to go in the air fryer. So I just keep it simple for this step. I just like to do a little bit of olive oil. Like so. I just like to put mine in a bowl. And then you can use a pastry brush. I like to just use my fingers and just rub it in there. Keep it real simple, less dishes that way. I know I don't like doing dishes, that's the worst part of cooking. So I'm just rubbing them. Just a little bit of olive oil, that'll help them get nice and crispy when we put them in the air fryer. Okay. Spread a little bit of olive oil. And then we're just gonna season them up a little bit. Got a little bit of kosher salt here. Just give them a little sprinkle. It's always good to season at every level of cooking to make sure that your flavors meld well all the way through. And here I've got just a little bit of ground black pepper. Give that a little bit of sprinkle. And then I've got one of my favorite spices, smoked paprika. It's a fantastic way to add a lot of flavor without adding fat, sodium, all of those things that we sometimes worry about with our seasonings. And it has just such a good, strong, it smells so good. It smells so good. I put it on so many things. And it goes so well with sweet potatoes. It goes so well with that sweetness. It adds a little bit of smokiness. So I just did about a teaspoon, just sprinkled it over those. Just like so. Now, we're gonna head over to our air fryer here. Okay, so we've got our lovely air fryer here, my new favorite kitchen gadget. This one has little racks in it that you can take out. Some of them just have a basket you pull out. So it just depends on what kind of air fryer you have. If you have to do this in batches, we should be able to fit all these on our little racks here. So I'm just gonna get these loaded up. I don't know if you can see with all the seasonings on there. They smell so good. And they're not even finished, and they already smell amazing. And get that guy loaded up in there. And there's our other one. Just like so. Go in there. All right, and we got them all in, yay! Okay, so I'm going to set this at 375 degrees for, we're gonna go with 15 minutes. That should get them nice and crispy. All right, while those are cooking, we're gonna make our filling for them. Back over here to our lovely cutting board. We're gonna keep this really simple, but it will add a lot of flavor. I've just got one smallish yellow onion here and a red bell pepper. You can use whatever color you like. I like the color of the red. I think it adds a nice visual appeal to it. They're also sweeter, so I just prefer the taste of them as well. So with our onion, just like we did before, cut that end off, cut it through the root, get this guy peeled. Just like so. Comes right off. And while we're cutting him up, I'm gonna get this pan heated up. We want it over about medium heat. We are gonna get these onions some good color on them, and that will add a lot of really fantastic flavor. I like to just go with the dice for this. If you want to do strips, go for it. This is a little bit bigger dice than we were doing with the dip because we are cooking it. We're going to saute it. Did you know that the word saute actually means to dance? And it's called that because of how, with the hot oil in the pan, how items tend to dance around and sizzle. Fun little fact of the day. All right, so there is my diced up onion. My pan's starting to get hot. We're going to add just a little bit of olive oil in there. About a tablespoon or two. Don't need a ton. And then in gonna go the onion. That's the sound we like. That means your oil's hot enough. That means we're going to get some good color on those onions. A little occasional stir there. While he's getting ahead and start cooking, we're going to cut up our pepper. A lot of people have trouble with peppers, with trying to get the seeds out and the membranes, and I'm going to show you a trick. I just cut around the core. So I hold it upright on my cutting board and just cut the sides off. Just like that. No seeds, because the seeds are all right there and not in your food. And then from here, there's just a little bit of membrane I'm going to trim out. That membrane tends to be a little bit bitter, so I do try to get rid of that where I can. And now, just like our onion, we're just going to dice this up, and that's going to go in the pan with the onion. I just cut it into thin strips, turn it, and give it a good dice. We want all of these little bite-sized flavors to fill our potato skins with. Ooh. It's a good way to add a little bit more veggies to your diet as well. I know I'm as guilty as the next person about not eating enough veggies, I should say. Okay, so there is our pepper. That's going to go right into the pan with our onion. You want to make sure, really don't want to mess with this too much. Just stir it occasionally, just so it doesn't burn. Don't go super high with the heat, because again, it'll just burn. Just gotta have a little bit of patience here to get what we want. What we are looking for is everything to start browning a little bit, peppers included. And that is going to add another delicious depth of flavor to our potato skin filling. So we are going to just let that do its thing for a few minutes here. Alrighty, our onions and peppers are starting to get some nice color on them. Look at that. You'll start to smell it too. It'll start smelling almost sweet. And that's because those natural sugars are getting brought to the surface, and that's what's causing them to brown. All right, we're gonna let those keep doing their thing for just a minute. Next, I've just got some green onions for the top. for when they're all done. So we're just going to get those all trimmed up and ready to go. So I just always start by going through and looking and seeing if there's any leaves that are just kind of limp or funny looking. Just pull those off. And then I always start by making a diagonal cut to trim my ends off. Okay. And then we just want to do some nice thin slices here at a diagonal. That'll give it that nice fancy restaurant look. We pretty much just want the green parts for this because this is just going to be the garnish on top. You can see there, they look really pretty with that little bias cut, we call it. Set those in our little bowl here and set them aside for when they're all done. Okay? All right. Those onions and peppers are looking to be about where we want them. So the next thing I'm going to do here, I just have a can of black beans that I drain and rinse, just a regular 15-ounce can. I like to buy the ones that are no salt added. I feel that I can control the sodium level better that way because I'm starting with less. You can buy seasoned ones if you want. I just bought plain ones and we're going to season them ourselves here. Okay? So I am just wanting to get things heated up a little bit with my onions and peppers. So I just kind of scooch my onions and peppers to the edges of the pan, just kind of get them out of the way a little bit to give those black beans a chance to heat up. Then pour them right in there. They're already cooked, so we just need to get them hot, that's all. They're so quick and easy. And beans are a fantastic source of protein and fiber, low in cholesterol, and there are so many different kinds. I like black beans for this. Another one I also really like, you could also do pinto beans in this one, or kidney beans. I also really like white beans, like white kidney beans or cannellini beans, in some Italian dishes. Those are really delicious. All right, so now we're just going to season it up. I always wait until after my vegetables have got that nice caramelization going before I season them, because salt can actually inhibit that. So we're just going to give it a good sprinkle, just our regular kosher salt. Wanted to add some other seasonings in here, some cayenne or something. If you like it hot, go for it. I'm just going to do some salt and pepper. I do like black pepper though, so I tend to go a little heavy on the black pepper. Just give that a little stir. We're just going to turn that off. Stir in those seasonings. And just give it a taste to make sure if we need to add any more seasonings. Always make sure to taste your food as you're cooking so that you can adjust seasonings if necessary, okay? That's really good. The peppers and onions have that nice caramelized flavor to them. We're just going to go a little bit more salt. I think those will be perfect for our potato skins. Stir that in a little bit more. All right. We're just going to let that hang out while our skins are finishing up over there. We're going to go back and check on our dip, see how that's doing. All right, let's see how our dip is looking. Ooh, you can see it bubbling. That's what we're looking for. Very careful taking that out. Very hot. That cheese is nice and bubbly, starting to brown on top. You can see through the clear dish that it's starting to bubble all the way through. So it's going to be nice and hot. We're going to let that just hang out for a few minutes because right now it's lava. We don't want to burn ourselves. And it sounds like our potato skins might be done. So let's have a look at those. Ooh, very nice. They're nice and crispy. So I'm just going to put them back on my sheet pan for now, just so that I can assemble them. And then they're going to go back in the air fryer one more time, just to get them all melty and delicious. I'm just going to start spooning our filling right inside those potato skins. Just like so. These would be really fantastic with like a salsa to dip, or even like a spicy aioli. Be delicious as well. Today we are going to use Greek yogurt. It is a fantastic substitute for sour cream, which is traditional for potato skins. And it's a fantastic source of lean protein. Okay, so we got those nice and filled up there. Our little onion, pepper, black bean mixture. And then I just have about a cup of shredded cheddar cheese here. You can use whatever you like. Some of those mixes that they carry in stores these days are fantastic. They call them a lot of different things. Mexican blend, Fiesta blend. You could do Kojak, you could do Pepper Jack, whatever you like. I just like good old cheddar. So that's what we have today. I will say that I have found that the low-fat cheeses just don't melt very well. So I tend to lean towards just using a little less and using the ones that do not. Okay, so now we got the cheese on them. We're going to take them back over to the air fryer. We're gonna grab our little trays again here, load them back up. They don't need to go in very long this time. We're just trying to get that cheese all melty. So we're gonna do the same temperature as last time, 375. We're only gonna do about 5 minutes this time. So they're already cooked, filling is hot, just gotta get that cheese all melty. Other one. There we go. That one's gonna go in. There we go. Get it all lined up just right. All right. Door closed. Okay. Our temperature, we're gonna do 375. Time, we're going to take it down 5 minutes, okay? This one automatically starts on its own. When we come back to that, they should be all nice and melty, and we'll be ready to put our toppings on them and eat. This Ogie dip, or Italian hero dip. Let's get a scoop of that into our pretty little bowl here. Ooh. Looky there. Ooh, yummy. Look at all that cheese. Pepperoni, the salami, peppers, olives. It smells amazing. So we got a little scoop of that in our little bowl here. That stringy, gooey cheese all over the place. It's a good problem to have. We'll just put a few more little pretty crostini in there. Look how pretty that looks. Y'all, I almost forgot our beautiful shredded lettuce. So I'm just gonna plop some just right on top here. So we get that nice cool crunch with our dip as well. I would wait until right before serving to put this on, okay? We don't want that heat wilting it, making it all soggy. We just want to add a nice little fresh crunch to it. There we go. How's that? That looks delicious. I could probably just eat that with a spoon. All right, folks, our timer just went off on our sweet potato tater skins here. We had them in there just for a few minutes to get a little melty. That'll make them look nice. Let's do 3. 3 is a good number. We'll do that one, and that one. And then to top them, I've just got some plain Greek yogurt. It's nice and tangy like sour cream. Like I said, it's lots of nice protein for you. Put a little dollop like that on top. And we got a little sprinkle of our green onions. And that is that, folks. How fantastic do those look? We hope you enjoyed our videos today. My name again is Chef Holly Rutherford, coming to you from Morton, Illinois.